Hey guys, a bunch of the legendaries just got released for the new Deadmines expansion. I'm gonna go over there, rate them. They might all be broken. They're all really good, but in different ways. So we're just gonna go over them and talk about them. So first we got Edwin Defias Kingpin. I'm saying this one. Draw a card if you play it this turn. Gain +2/+2 and repeat this effect. So this is you have a small deck. You can just keep playing cards. And you know, if you look at Rogue kind of deck, this could slot nicely into that. You can use it as a draw a card, develop some stats. You know, you hit something like prep, you can go prep swindle. There's a lot of stuff you can do. It's not going to be that easy because in that, like, well, if you top deck an expensive card or you top deck, you get it a card you don't want to play because it's too important. There's a lot of that kind of stuff that can happen. But I still think this effect is very strong overall. You know, it's an interesting deck builder's challenge, and because it's a pirate, there's even some crazy things you can do with it later from another legendary we're going to see later. But bottom line, this card looks pretty solid overall. It's definitely at least pretty decent, but I'm not convinced it's broken. But maybe somebody builds the deck the right way. But I think it's a little bit harder to use than old Edwin because you have to draw the 0 mana stuff. If you play a 0 mana card, so it's not going to necessarily work unless you can't pre-discount with like Efficient Octobot. So it has to be the cards that you discounted. So I'm going to go with pretty decent. I'm not quite convinced this is broken, but I think this is solid. I'm not sure this is guaranteed that even slots into rogue decks, but it looks good overall. And it's a very cool effect, a cool different way of doing the old Edwin style. Next we got Cookie the Cook. Lifesteal Death Rattle, equip a 2/3 Stirring Rod with Lifesteal. And I've literally been seeing people say this is a bad card. They don't know what they're talking about. Like, this card is very good, but it's not a meta definer. It's not a win the game card. It's a utility card. Compare this. It's a Eldrazi Warblades with a body, unnerved. Remember, Eldrazi Warblades, now, Shaman doesn't have the Demon Hunter hero power, but that card was busted on day 1 of the Demon Hunter release. Now, they're giving us a Eldrazi Warblades with a body. Now, that the body has Lifesteal for 3 mana. This card's broken, but just because it's broken doesn't mean it's going to see play. That's because every deck that's Shaman, for the most part, runs the Cage Magic Custodian. It draws a weapon. This already has the weapon on it. But I think the reality is this has to find the right deck for it. Although I think this card could easily slot into Quest Shaman. You put this in, you play it, it dies, you get 4 hits with Lifesteal. That's going to help you control the board. It's going to help you, get your Perpetual Flames off. So I don't know how people can think this is a bad card. It's really, really good, but it's not the flashy card. It's not the, it's just the kind of just really annoying. Your opponent plays this, they're going to just be trading off all your minions, without losing life. And they get this body at first. So very, very good card. Slow effect. So the biggest negative of this card is that it's slow and value doesn't exist in Hearthstone anymore. So, maybe it doesn't work, but like this card in previous metas could be this. So I'm not going to look at it just because this card doesn't quite work in the current meta, in the current like sort of style of the game. But it's so strong overall that I have to say it's broken. And I think people are sleeping on it because it just doesn't quite work as the game works right now. But the overall, just the efficiency and the overall stats of the card is just too good to ignore. So next we got the big one that everybody's talking about. Your pirates have charge, Mr. Smite. This card's broken. Just put it in Quest Warrior. Oh, you summon the 5/5, play this, 11, hit the weapon, and 14. Oh, I just got it randomly from Quest Warrior. So even if you don't run it. So, just it's more stats than Leroy. No downside. Now it's got 6 mana, it costs 6 mana, but like this card is really, really good. You can use it with your other pirates. You either you play with a bunch of pirates to finish the player off. You can now hold your stuff and kind of use it, as just a finisher. And sometimes the pirate warrior can be quite clunky. So this will help you finish. But you know, there's a lot of pirates being printed this mini Deadmines expansion, so I could see the pirate, another deck using this card and using this as the win condition. So incredibly strong card, like no stat charge. Like this has a 6 mana 6/5 charge would be good, but it's neutral, so any class can use it. So I mean, and this is, you know, I'm thinking poor Wild. I'm not even sure Wild gets to the 6 mana, but you know, Wild does have a lot of pirates. I bet that I could see them not liking this card, but maybe, you know. But yeah, very, very strong card. Definitely broken. So, you know, figuring out, you know, what's the right, is it just going to be like this nice utility where you can get, you know, 10 damage burst, you save some pirates, you get a 10 mana burst if the game's going long, it'd be a good finisher. It can also be, you know, like I said, you get the pirate randomly, and if, God forbid, you stick this, it's going to be insane. So maybe you can figure out a way to stick this against certain decks. But bottom line, I think this card is very strong, broken. So, yeah. And finally, we got Goliath Sneed's Masterpiece. Fire 5 rockets at enemy minions that deal 2 damage each. You pick the targets. So, it's a weird thing where, like, I'm not sure how that works, because, like, usually Hearthstone, you can only pick one thing at a time. That's kind of not the standard, so we'll see how that works. But yeah, this is, now, realistically, I do think this is just too slow. And remember, clearing minions is not that big a deal. So, it's weird, like I said. This card, it's cool, like, but realistically, I think it's garbage. It's just not gonna, you know, when is your opponent gonna have a giant board and you have a mana no taunt thing? Like, you can move their board, but it just, these kind of cards just don't work. Now, this could go, like I said, this could go face as well, but it's only enemy minions, so I can't use it as a finisher. Now, if it could go face, it would be, you know, ridiculously broken. But it's just a thing of, like, having these big clunky cards doesn't work anymore in Hearthstone. The meta is too fast. How are you going to be Quest Mage? How are you going to be Quest Life Steal Hunter? How are you going to be Garrett? Oh, are you, you know, how are you going to beat all these decks that just have, or how are you going to be Quest Warlock? All these decks will just beat you if you run big cards like this. You're just not going to work it. So this card, you know, it's cool, but it's unplayable. So garbage. This is the one garbage card of the legendaries, but overall, you know, interesting legendaries. I mean, the one that's going to be really, could be quite meta defining, you know, is this Mr. Smite. So I haven't even looked at all the combinations of different classes. Obviously, Quest Warrior, Pirate Warrior loves this card. Even if you don't run it, you can get it randomly, which is insane. But bottom line is, I'm curious to see how this affects the meta and what changes. So it seems like, you know, control is not going to be back anytime soon. The offensive tools are getting better and better, and the defensive tools not so much. So, but it's going to be a very, very fast meta, maybe a heavy aggro meta. I'm not sure. But yeah, very, very powerful card. So anyways, hope you guys like this and enjoy.